You're
You
watching
have just
Brita,
watched the
and
beautiful
soon we're
Petronas
going to
Twin
be
Towers,
signing
but
off
don't let
and
that
go off air.
distract you. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon.
Hello and welcome to our first episode of Max Scrutiny. This show will show you notable guests from recent notable events and question them with difficult questions that they have to answer. This program will break through the typical journalism and will push the boundaries of journalistic interviews. I would like to welcome you all with our first guest, I'm Not Rumi. I'm Not Rumi is the second chairman of Bermuda Media and was previously the party leader of Party Reformasi. Recently, he made a statement against the Prime Minister's statement on the protest regarding the topic of the abolishment of Dewan Negara. I'm Not Rumi, welcome to the show. Tell us, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I'm in the middle of an ARMA operation. I just landed in some unnamed Vietnamese forest, but I'm doing good today. How about you?
Right, feeling good too. So let's go to the questions right now, starting with the first one. So, why have you decided to go against the Prime Minister's statement and voiced it with your own news outlet?
Well, Burita, this is like 2 weeks worth of news. Let's talk about some new current events, but sure, I'll answer that question for you. I went against the Prime Minister's statement on the protest because it was merely elitist. The Prime Minister thinks that he's the big Well, I'll tell you, the voters put him into office. And when Malaysians learn from their figureheads that they don't have to suck to get to the top, then there is when we'll have an effective democracy, not a basic orgy of just people jerking each other off till they get the highest position.
Alright, so the Prime Minister viewed your scrutiny approach as trying to incite chaos and protests. So, why do you think this approach of scrutiny is the best way to get the government up to its standards?
I believe that all media organizations should scrutinize the government, the opposition, and anyone with any form of authority, because if any authority does not face scrutiny, then that authority will go rampant. And the mere claim that I'm trying to incite riots, that is just a mere claim to try to silence the media with tyranny.
Okay, so now moving on to the third question. So, why do you think the Prime Minister is putting up an emotional tone that is deemed as aggressive on his statement, according to what you have said in Oculus Zen's Engage Our MPs session?
Well, I believe I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Prime Minister on why he acts like a mere child when he probably is one. It's a Lego game, what do you expect? But I believe the Prime Minister could take his work just a bit more seriously. Policy-wise, sure, he's doing more than any other politician in Malaysia has done before, but then again, that bar is extremely low. And I'll do well to remind the Prime Minister that it's his party that's been in control this whole time. So every time that Malaysia doesn't progress, it's on him and it's on his party, no matter what he does today. But most importantly, I believe that the Prime Minister takes an emotional tone because he thinks he can get away with it. We've seen party democratic, I don't know how to say it, get away with a shit ton of things just because they consider themselves the shit. And I feel that Malaysia has to show them that they're not the shit. I feel like Malaysians need to show the Prime Minister and the government that their voice matters and that they're not quote unquote trying to incite violence. No, I believe that every Malaysian matters from left to right. And I believe that every Malaysian has a right to voice their opinion through protest. Now, the government doesn't believe that, but I believe the government's filled with tyrants. So that's not my fault.
Okay, so now moving on to the final question. So, should the government have another approach that is rather passive? What is the appropriate response that you think is suited?
I'm not telling the government to act like and to suck up the protesters. No, I'm telling the government to be, first of all, protect the principles of Malaysia. One of them key being the democracy and the freedom of speech that every Malaysian reserves the right to participate in. And I believe the government should ensure it protects those values and not speak against it. I'm not going to tell how the government how to speak, but if the government's clearly trying to violate my rights, I'm going to tell them they're wrong.
Alright, so that is all the time we have for today. I'm Not Rumi. Thank you for coming to the show. It's an honor to have you as our first guest.
Thank you.
Now, don't forget to stay tuned for more episodes of Max Scrutiny. We may not be scheduled, but we will come when the news breaks the window. My name is Itzfields, and I'll see you on the next episode. Farewell. Hello and welcome to our second episode of Max Scrutiny, the show where we scrutinize interviews to another level. This program will break through the typical journalism and will push the boundaries of journalistic interviews. Today's guest is no other than Mr. Keon von Rufi. Welcome to the show. Mr. Keon is the 23rd and the 25th Prime Minister of Malaysia and is currently the Minister of the Foreign Affairs. Today, we'll be interviewing him about the current state of the foreign affairs and ASEAN.
Normal programming to bring you the special broadcast. You are watching Berita. The Royal Malaysian Navy has dispatched a warship known as the KD Raja Abdullah to a Merck's container ship earlier to a hostage situation. Here we have live from our site correspondent at Affinity. Right now we have live coverage from the Super Lynx helicopter over hovering over the KD Abdullah, and it's now moving towards the Merck's container ship. You can see the spotlights from KD Raja Abdullah heading towards the Merck's container ship, and we expect it to arrive in time to deal with the hostage situation.
Here we are on board the KD Raja Abdullah, one of Malaysia's littoral combat ship from the 23rd Frigate Squadron. And behind me in the distance we see Mars Arun, where he has set eyes for the crew of KD Raja Abdullah. Currently the column fleet been deployed. So, Lush, what do you think this distress call has been called for, and why, and who are doing this?
Think that the Sulu Coast Guard or the Sulu Army, they want money, they want financial means to get more weapons, more ammunition. Uh, more in the current light of maritime piracy, most people tend to like pirates tend to raid Merc's container ships because they contain a lot of goods and services, and usually most of these groups would hold them for ransom. In a few cases, there have been instances where one oil ship, which happened off the coast of Africa, recently got ransom for about $1 billion, and the company agreed to pay for that $1 million, which is which is the outcome that most pirate groups want in their piracy. But hopefully, in this case, we can expect that the container ship will be seized by the Royal Malaysian Navy.
Right, thank you, Lush. As we are continuing on, we see two RIB, which is rigid inflatable hull boat. They are currently they are currently heading towards where the container ship is, and it appears to be they are currently boarding the ship in order to secure the hostages that are kept in the boat.
So, Mr. Infinity, what do you think of the situation overall? Seeing that you're down there, how do you think it's gonna go out?
Currently, it is very stressed currently for the Royal Malaysian Navy as they were holding on, but hopefully they can secure the boat with ease.
Do you feel confident that the Royal Malaysian Navy will be able to deal with this hostage situation peacefully?
Looking at the situation currently happening right now, it is highly sure that they will secure the ship and everything will be handled with ease.
All right, thank you. No, as we see from the live helicopter shoot, the Super Lynx is currently hovering around the Merc's container ship. It is believed that the Sulu army, there's about 4 or 5 of them on the Merc's container ship, holding a bunch of sailors or sailors from the Merc's container ship, not the Royal Malaysian Navy. Right now, the Raja Abdullah has his guns sighted on the container ship. If it makes a move, then the KD Raja Abdullah will be dispatching its firearms at the Merc's container ship. We will be going back to a situation that occurred 10 years ago with the Horn of Africa situation, where Pasukan rescued a ship off the Horn of Africa. Basically, the Horn of Africa is basically the sea between where most ships travel to South Africa, and these trading routes tend to be a target for piracy, and a few ships tend to be target of pirate gangs, and they are usually end up in situations of ransoming and hostage. However, in present day, most of these trading routes tend to be safe with the advent of more naval activity around these trading routes and more security on the container ships.
as the situation goes on, here we see the Super Lynx helicopter currently approaching a chase scene where Royal Malaysian Navy on one rib is chasing a few militia, what it looks like to be a militia on someone. It appears to be that they have one hostage with them. Right. If we look at the camera from the LCS, on view of the LCS, one of the ribs that are boarding the container ship is successfully back. From what I hear, no one was hurt or injured, which is a nice one to hear. Currently, what is happening, we don't have eyes on the chase scene as the helicopter has returned back to the ship, but we have high hopes that the Royal Malaysian Navy on the one rep team will secure the hostage and everything will be fine. Here it is nighttime in Sulu deployment, Sulu Seas. We see the chase scene that is currently happening, that is in front of me, where the chase scene hasn't been stopped yet. They have returned near the KD Raja Abdullah, where it is easier for the Royal Malaysian Navy to stop. As we see on the LCS, one more RIP team has been deployed in order to stop the hostiles or militia that has been carrying the hostage. The Super Lynx helicopter is now back in the air, and we can see a few scenes of the chase that is currently happening. As we see from the hostile ship that are near the LCS, they are shouting at the ship, which is cease fire. Looks like they are seizing fire. All right, Lush. As the hostiles or militia are seizing fire, what do you think would happen to them if they were to get caught by the Royal Malaysian Navy? And what would be said by the hostage after that?
Well, considering that the hostiles are seizing fire, it means that they are realizing that they are unable to further engage with the Royal Malaysian Navy, and typically, in most cases, they would be prosecuted by under Malaysian law. And obviously, same thing with the hostages. The hostages will most likely get uh repatriated back to the probably them support went through. But obviously, it's going to be a very long process for those involved. It seems that the sampan recently has taken fire, and we have gotten reports that the perpetrators involved were eliminated. Further updates to come.
Currently, we see the view on the Lynx helicopter that the hostage has been secured and they are currently returning back to the ship with the hostage secured. It looks like Royal Malaysian Navy has successfully done their mission well. Few militias that were caught are now on board the KD Raja Abdullah and will be brought back to the Malaysian land. And as Lush said, they will be prosecuted under Malaysian law.
All right. According to latest reports, that the hostage has been secured by the Royal Malaysian Navy and is in the custody of the Navy. The status of the hostage is currently okay with no major injuries, and we will return to normal programming as soon as we can. Thank you very much.
TOC, Delta 10. Be advised that's my call sign complete. Now moving to Objective London. Out. Roger. Launch arc. TID all packed. Go when ready. Salvo, you're up. On it. Flash. Go, go!
You're watching Brita, and soon we are going to be signing off and go off air. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you soon.